Hey everybody, I decided this week that I'm going to do one assignment for K through 5, and I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce you guys to the members of the string family, more specifically the orchestral string family. So the first one I'm going to start with is basically, you can consider it to be the main character of the string family, okay? Typically, there's a lot of these in an orchestra, so much so that there's actually a violin 1 and a violin 2 group. Now the three that I'm going to show you today, aside from the string bass, which I unfortunately don't have one of, they all very much the same concept, okay? Just different sizes, different notes, they produce different tones, but they all use this guy, which is called a bow, and it's basically laced with horsehair, and we use that to go across the string. So I'm going to give you guys the same piece on each instrument, so you can basically hear the difference in the timbre, okay? So this is the violin, and it has this low G string, the D string, the A string, and then the high E string, which that string is very exclusive to the violin. So I'm going to do a little bit of Amazing Grace on each one, and I'm going to try to focus on the strings that are specific to the string. So I'll try to focus on the A and the E string for this guy. So that's focusing on that high E string, which when played well, it's very nice, but you can also imagine how if it's not played well, that E string can be kind of shrilly, okay? So the next one I'm going to introduce to you guys, very similar to the violin, okay? And if I just hung this up or held this up, you may not even understand that it's a different instrument, but you can notice that when next to the violin, you can notice it's quite a bit larger. It's quite a bit larger and quite a bit thicker. Now, the violin has the G string, the D string, the A string, and the E string. For this guy, this is a viola. This is a 16-inch viola, which is fairly standard for normal people. It still does have that G string, the D string, and the A string. But for the viola, what they did is they took that high E string off and they gave it a low C string. And then G string, D string, and the A string. Okay? So I'm going to do the same Amazing Grace. I'm going to focus on the G string and the D string. You'll get a nice, good listen to the timbre. Actually, I'm going to bring it down to the C string just to give you the lower end of this, okay? It still does have a little bit of a higher range here. But, you know, they don't have the same timbre as the violin does. And the biggest part of that is, one, well, the strings are longer. But of course, the deeper body and the bigger body for that sound to bounce around with, and it just provides a more mellow tone, okay? So that one's the viola. Remember, the viola is the one looks like a violin, slightly larger. They both use the same bow. The other one that I have for you guys, I'm going to try to see the best way for me to fit this in here, is my cello. Now, typically, you would play this. It's got basically a big violin. This one has an end pin on it, so typically we would play this guy sitting down in a chair like this, but for the video, I'm going to try to, I have the end pin out, so we're going to do it with, I'm going to lower this down, that way you can see some of this guy. All right, typically they have the same tuning pegs as the violin and viola, but this is one of mine that I just decided to get creative with and put the bass tuners on there. But it's got the same letter name strings as a viola, but it's an octave lower. So you have the low C string. Now let different bow, sorry. That felt different. That's because I'm trying to use a violin bow. So you have the low C string, you have the G string. Oh, that's a little bit. There we go. Sorry. I thought I had already tuned these guys. Alright, so you have the low C string, you have the G string, G string, and the A string. Okay? So I'll give you guys a little bit of these mid strings here. Cello is considered by many to be the one instrument that's more similar to the human voice than any other. So here's a little bit of the Amazing Grace for the cello. Cello is very relaxed tone, and just it's got this perfect range that I love and enjoy. So again, those are the 3 instruments that I do have for you. So what your assignment this week is going to be, along with this video, is I have a picture of the 4 orchestral string instruments. You have the violin, the viola, the cello, and then the double bass. Now, because I don't have a double bass, I'm going to leave the name for the double bass right on there. But I'll number each instrument for the other 3. That would be cello, violin, and viola. And all you have to do is just put the name with that instrument, okay? So remember, the smallest one, the main character of the family, if you will, is the violin. And then you have the slightly larger looking violin, but it's called the viola. And then you have the cello, which, you know, clearly the one that's bigger than 2. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you have a good week. And if you have any questions, shoot me a message. Make sure, and I think I'm going to put it, the first question this time is put first name, last name, teacher's names, because I forgot it on one of the assignments last week, which I apologize for. Great. I hope you guys have a great week.